Thanks, Norman. So anyway, the theme is land capture, and I call it, regeneration. What is the opportunity that's, projects have in influencing the environment that they're built in? In our case, go to the next slide, please. Next one. Just an intro to the project. It is a high-speed rail project. It'll be the first high-speed rail system in the United States. So running at 205 miles an hour. Distance is 240 miles between the fourth and fifth largest cities in the US. So the demand is there to be able to fund this on a private basis. It will strengthen and integrate two cities into one. This is the goal of building this out. And the major hurdles are, first, of course, how to permit this in Texas, which has very strong property rights laws. And also, how do you integrate the system to the rest of the economy? And we really have three stations, one in Dallas, one in Houston, and one in the Brazos Valley. And we have separate strategies for each. Would like to spend some time talking about the Dallas opportunity, because that's the one that is most advanced, and that will give you some sense of how we plan to integrate this into the community. Next, please. So just to give you a sense of size, this is what the opportunity looks like. There are about 14 million trips taken every year between the two cities. We aim to get about a third of those by the end of 5 years of operation. To put that in perspective, 5 million is actually the passenger flows through Union Station here in DC. So that gives you a sense of size. So you split that in two, so 2.5 million at each endpoint of the line in 5 years. That is the goal, the initial goal. And from that, the growth in that area is one of the fastest in the nation. We have about a 10.6% average growth for both Dallas and Houston. And that means the population will grow to up to 27 million people. And ridership will be around the same, in that range of 28 million passengers per year. And at that point, in 2050, we're looking at about 10 million passengers that would use the system. So this is what our ridership studies give us, and a sense of what this would mean in terms of integrating that regional growth for the country. Next one, please. So this is just a bit of the research that we've done with respect to the attractiveness of using the system versus other options. Next one, please. Yes, it will generate a lot of activity to what our last presenter was talking about. Jobs, skills growth, all these things will be part of implementing it. We're looking at over 10,000 jobs per year, direct construction jobs on the project for about 5 years. So that's 50,000 man a year of work. And if you look at chain supply, and this is using Bureau of Labor Statistics methodology, you're talking about 150,000 jobs that are linked to the supply of the infrastructure. So it's a very large impact. And what is important is we're trying to do this on a private basis. So no grants. We've said that from the beginning. We're currently developing this based on private investment, mainly investors. Majority of this is investors from Texas. Our decisions are market-driven, and we're looking at how to come up with the optimal size of the scope of the project itself to make it financeable. Next one, please. And what does this address? Well, it addresses the problem. Currently, what we have is congestion. You have I-45, which turns out to be the second deadliest highway in the U.S. 55 fatalities in the period of 2011 to 2015, and the darkest highway, and where you have the most drunken drivers. So that's not a good formula for growth. And with the density and congestion that you will have increasing down this corridor, this is a concern. And alleviating that through private investment is our goal. Next, please. So, focusing on the land opportunities and what they mean. And here I go to startups. Well, we're going to be cash negative until we sell the first ticket. So, since we're privately financed, the goal there is to minimize cost. And it turns out that therefore startups, big and small, seek to be in areas that are depressed and looking for regeneration. It's pretty straightforward. Rents are cheaper. And therefore it's easier to locate there, to be able to grow your structure at the pace that you can afford. And to give you an example, next one please. When I last presented at CGLA, it was about that project. It was Ivanpah. And we used to call it, we were out of the Bay Area. Well, it was Oakland. It wasn't San Francisco. It wasn't Silicon Valley. It was too expensive for us. So we were out of Oakland. And that was a decision and a choice that we made. Both to integrate to the community, both to expand the knowledge of our technology and develop actually skill sets there, integrating with community colleges and the like, and also because the economics were more attractive. Next one, please. So now we go to what it is that we're doing in Dallas, and it's pretty much the same. You see downtown on the top right picture, we're not there. This is the breaking ground of part of the development of the land that we're going to be using for our station, and the building on the bottom right is actually our headquarters, and that's an old Sears distribution center. Actually, the first one that Sears ever had, built in 1908. So what has happened there is we as part of many tenants have regenerated that building into a multi-use facility. It was going to be torn down, and in the end, it's now being used for a very useful purpose, I would say. Many entrepreneur-type ventures there, big and small. Artists live and work there. Small local businesses, no franchises of any type. Everything is local, and that's the way we are developing all of this area. Next, please. So a bit of what it means to integrate a train system into a metro area. Here, as I showed you, that was South Dallas. So what was on the other side of the highway was downtown currently. And the idea of developing flows is definitely an attraction for both station development and what is called terminal-oriented development, meaning that you will be able to develop associated businesses because of the flow of traffic, because of the convenience of connection and connectivity. So that is an example of what the train integrated into the city landscape would be. The station on the left, top left. In the middle, you see a bit of the integration into the station itself, into the city. And then on the bottom right, you see a more dense development that, depending on what it is and your location within the city, that is another type of choice. So with that, I give you a sense of what our plans are.
That's great. Thank you very much, Carlos.